seen this on Kijiji for about, you know, since hunting season. Long story short is he's asking $500 for the tractor and $300 for a snowblower. And of course, it's famous for needing a coil. I'm not going to enlarge those pictures, but I'm going to go take a look at that, make him a lowball offer and see how it goes. So maybe I should get another one. So just finished barbecuing up myself some deer steak. So tomorrow morning, going to go buy that tractor. That's if he takes what I offer. Well, I'm off to go get that tractor. It's 7:45. Got my light on. That's pretty bad. I know it's pretty dark out, pretty icy out. I have no weight whatsoever on the truck. Guy's about 45 minutes outside the city. I'm rushing to get it tonight because tomorrow I'm going to be busy as hell. Just picking up one of my buddies that's about as drunk as you can think of. Just someone would be after Christmas. When I get there, I'll make a little bit of an update. And a little bit of a closer look of this tractor here before I unload it. Right now it is frozen in place. You can see right there. It's hard to say, but yeah, I washed it last night expecting to bring it into the garage, but of course couldn't get it in the garage last night. So frozen in a block of ice. Not that big of a deal because I can just drive in as long as my door is not frozen, which I don't think it will be. But straps are frozen almost completely solid. I got one on off, but I don't want to cut them, so I have to bring it in the shop. You can see someone repainted it at one time, so but whatever. And there we go. Have her in the garage. Just going to kind of let it de-thaw. The truck actually isn't bad. It's not frozen up or anything, but these straps sure are. Maybe not so much anymore, but yeah, they're pretty crunchy. I probably could untie the knots, just warm them up, but I'd rather actually let the tractor sit inside for a while. Snowblower is pretty ratty, pretty beat, but it does have parts that my other one doesn't have, like the chain or the belt guard. A little bit of worn out spot here. So transmission on my other one's completely shot. This one here, I haven't checked it. It actually seems to be tight. Has a 3-point hitch. No, the snowblower is not a 3-point hitch mount. It mounts on the front. Just this is the way we put it on my truck. I went to get it last night because last night was only about -15, where right now it's -30 outside. So I should have actually did a cold start video on my truck. It was actually a pretty good start. So yeah, -30 outside. This thing was serviced at the small engine shop just by my house. So it's kind of cool. And yes, it is the 16 horsepower overhead valves. I bought, this guy owned it for like 35 years or something like that, he said, so he's pretty much the original owner. He had all the paper or all the books with it here, so some of them are pretty ratty, so yeah. So this is the, not ST, what the hell, yeah, ST16, so that's the model number of this tractor. I think he said it was a 74. He did a lot of work on it, according to him, before he had problems with it. He did 2, it looks like he did, I think he said 2 of the 3 spindles. This one here, actually it's pretty well frozen, but these ones are nice and tight. So, of course, they all turn fine. It's just right now they're frozen because of that ice. I never bothered trying to wash this at the car wash. The entire bottom of the motor, like this whole area, was just soaked with oil, so I just gave it a quick rinse. Again, expecting to bring it in the garage, let it de-thaw. As for when I'm going to be working on this tractor and what I'm going to be doing with it, to be honest, I'm not too sure. It was a little bit of an impulse buy. Oh, the hood is different. I'm just looking at the hood from that one. This one is a fair bit different. From what I can see, the dash on this one here is a lot better shaped than my other model. Than my SS16, which is outside under a tarp. I haven't really looked under the hood to see how bad it's cracked or if it's cracked. So hopefully that is in good shape. Basically, my plan is to have one tractor for plowing, which is the diesel right over there. The diesel. And one for cutting grass, which might end up being this one. And one for snow blowing, which will most likely be the SS16. So I'm not too sure yet. Don't know what else to really say. I'm going to go inside for a bit, come back out in about 3 hours, and hopefully everything's de-thawed enough to pull it off the truck. Well, I got the mower deck and the snowblower off. That was a pain in the ass doing it by myself. So The snowblower, like I said, is pretty beat, but it's going to be, like, everything's there. Everything seems like it'd work fine. So that arm's a bit bent, but that's probably just from dragging it onto the truck. No big deal. As for the mower deck, it actually looks to be pretty decent. So I know it might not look like it in this picture, but from the bottom, a little bit of chewage at the back, or it might be the front, I guess. I can't remember. But other than that, the mower deck actually seems to be decent shape. It's a 48-inch, so now for the fun part. So it's nice that it has the 3-point hitch. So don't know exactly how any of that works or anything yet. So it looks like it's just some ready rod through it, holding it on there. But the reason why I'm happy about the 3-point hitch is I picked up a draw kind of bar for the back, which isn't made for a 3-point hitch, but I'm going to modify it to work on a 3-point hitch. It's probably still frozen. Nope. Yeah. So, out of adjustment quite a bit. It's actually bent right there too, so it's better than what I had before, that's for sure, which was nothing. As for the metal bar I'm going to be using, it's kind of hard to show it, but it's that guy at the far back there, weighs about 100 and something pounds, so, and it's it's just as wide as the back of the machine here, so it should be perfect. So this guy designed a way to mount it. As for getting this off the truck, I guess I'll just slowly row it down and watch it fly down the back lane. Okay, so have her off the truck. Good thing the brake worked. It actually came off pretty easy. So this dash almost looks minty, so I never actually looked under the hood yet to see if there's any cracks. That's what I'm about to do now. Hope there's no cracks, but yeah, that hood looks to be, hey, actually it even has the factory hood stop that actually holds it. So, yeah, that hood looks to be in pretty decent shape. So that is pretty sweet. Here's a shot of the motor here. Hope that 69 doesn't mean it's from 1969. So this has the newer style with the gas tank underneath the seat, so, and battery up front. The older, I think the 1 year older, they had the tank and the battery side by side. So just thought I'd kind of give a little bit of an update on her. Seems to be in pretty okay shape. You can see there's a fair bit of hours on it because those tires are pretty well worn out. Front ones I don't believe are original, but they might be. So I don't see Sears stamped on them anywhere. As for the engine itself, it actually looks to be pretty clean. Well frosted up because, again, it's like minus 30 outside. Just brought it in off my truck. I noticed a few things. Throttle is not working. It's disconnected right there, as you can see. Disconnected from right there. Not too big of a deal. A lot of play in that steering. So you can see those bushings are not the proper ones because normally they push right into there. So I don't know what he did there yet. Looks like he kind of made an extension to raise the steering wheel, which could explain why it's all loose and at the very top. As for that play, it's all right here. So that nut on the very bottom there, or whatever, is about to come right off. That's not too big of a deal. Those ends are only about 15 bucks each. As for the underside, I actually haven't looked underneath it yet, so focus my camera at that distance. You guys let me know what it looks like underneath. Any mouse nestas, any kind of snakes or anything. Hope there's no snakes under there, so. I did bring it to the car wash. It was covered with oil. The entire frame of this thing was just soaked with oil. I haven't even looked and seen if there's any oil in there, of course, so let's see if it has any oil. Oh, yeah, she has oil in it. It's actually overfilled a little bit, but it's actually pretty clean, so. Probably be a while before I throw up any kind of videos, and I don't know what the hell used to go right there. I guess nothing. So universal cover, I guess, who knows. And the guy actually had a brand new battery here. So he had a new battery that he hasn't even, well, he had it on the tractor, but I mean, he took it out for the winter, so. According to him, he had problems with it starting, and he thinks it's the coil. So I know they're very known for the coils going bad on these motors, so if that's the case, I know there's a few of them I've seen for sale. They're not too bad of a price, so I'm going to let it dry off. I might tinker with it. Doubt I'll try starting it or anything right now. So yeah, that's my new toy. And again, I'm not too sure yet what I'm going to do with it. It was kind of an impulse buy. I thought I'd make a little bit of an update after I seen this. I kind of figured it was loose, but I wasn't expecting it to be this loose. So basically I was able to pull out the key with my fingers. Quite literally, I was able to pull it out with my fingertips. I grabbed an Allen key, expecting the Allen heads to actually be stripped in there, but no, they're just backed out. So they're in great shape. There's one, and there's the other one. So this one, I actually backed them out by hand a little bit, just to check it. I'm thinking it's going to need a rear seal, because it's pretty soaked there. So, but that could also be from it just dripping down from up top there, so. Going to crank it back tight, and I guess go from there. Okay, so I took off the valve cover just to check everything out there, because when I turn it over, but right there, and it almost locks up in that position every time. I'm going to pull off the flywheel cover and take a look, and I'm going to see if the coil for some stupid reason is hitting the flywheel. I guess I'll go from there. Okay, so look how dirty this is. Look at that, hey? It is due for cleaning. Costco making noise there. Holy, make some noise on my video, why don't you, Dad? Right there's my prom, which probably is what took out the spark, but you can see it hitting. Right there. So I don't know what kind of stud that is. A rivet, I guess, is popping out of there. But which would explain why, because it'd be, you can see right there, that's probably what it's meant to look like. So, there you go. So, I don't know, I'll have to take right off this and probably pop off the flywheel and just decide if it's worthwhile fixing it. And I actually think I got a spare flywheel that'll fit this, I'm not too sure yet. Okay, so I got off the coil pack, and yeah, you can see right there how that's bent over. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to fix that if I remove the flywheel. Chances are I'll have to either find a new stud. I'm not sure even what that's made out of, brass or copper, I guess. Which is kind of weird. As for the actual coil, it actually looks like it's still pretty decent. So you can see right there. So chances are it just was enough to bump the timing out. Just going to leave it pretty much for now. Going to go look for parts. Like I said, I think I have another flywheel. I'm not too sure yet. Okay, so you see that little hole right there in the center of the screen? Well, that's where this stud came out of. And from what I can see, this is non-magnetic. So, you know, it had kind of like a tapered lock. Some kind of weird fitting that looks like when it is hammered in, locked itself in place. But believe it or not, it pulled out freaking easy. It should look like that one right there. So that would explain the weird noise when I turned it over. For a while I was thinking it had a bad crank, but nope. Ended up being just this. For the coil here itself, it actually looks to be in okay shape. A little bit of markings on there, but you know, chances are there's nothing wrong with this. So a little bit moisture and damp still because it's still ice cold from just coming in. Hasn't been inside very long. What I'm going to do now is just put this thing kind of on the back burner kind of thing. You can actually see even that one sticking out a little bit. You can see how far it's sticking out there. I'm not sure if it's meant to be pushed in more. So you can see inside that hole there. That is pretty freaking dirty. So what I'm going to do now is throw on the cover, throw in the spark plug, put on the valve cover, kick it outside, and probably worry about it in the new year sometime. Sweet.